Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalia Lee and I'm the author of a few books for young adults. The most recent being the cozy contemporary fantasy Song of the Dryad, which is actually on sale for 99 cents across all ebook platforms if you're interested. So today I'm pretty darn excited because I am doing a collab video, and it's not just a collab with one other writer or two other writers or 5 other writers. This is a collab that I'm doing with 8 other writers here on YouTube, and I'm incredibly excited about it. It is going to be a massive Christmas giveaway. Like, there are so many prizes to be won within this single giveaway because everybody that's participating is giving something away. Some people are giving away multiple things. So if you are interested in being entered into this giveaway, make sure to stay tuned until the very end, where I will be telling you how you can enter. But for today's video, I am going to be answering 12 questions, which I actually need to get pulled up here on my phone. One moment. So today I'm going to be answering 12 Christmas related writing questions. It's going to be a holly jolly good time. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right into answering all of these questions, and then at the end I will tell you exactly how to get yourself entered into this ginormous Christmas giveaway. All right, let's get started. Okay, trying to get comfortable here because if you guys watch a lot of my videos, you know how long I can talk for. I'm like trying to get my jeans all comfortable. Oh, here we go. Maybe I should turn on a fan. I'll probably get warm. Anyway, the first question is Christmas sweets. Like you give Christmas sweets, what are the most helpful comments to give writers when you're beta reading for them? So I have done beta reading for other people, and I've also had many people do beta reading for me, both of Pistol Daisy and Song of the Dryad. And the most helpful comments, I think, are, or maybe not just individual comments, but something that very successful beta readers do is give both very positive feedback and then also touch on the negative feedback. And negative is a kind of a rough way to put it, maybe like constructive criticism. I love when readers can give me positive and negative feedback. And when I give feedback to other writers, I always try to do something that I call a compliment sandwich. So you do like a compliment, and then you give them the criticism, and then you compliment again. Because I think if you give too much criticism without complimenting a writer on their very hard work, then it can very quickly become almost detrimental to their ability to continue working hard on the story. If you're beta reading for somebody, try to find the good within the work that still needs tidying. Like, try to find the good within what still needs to be worked on, because that way you're giving the writer little like sparks of joy to keep them going while they are tackling another round of edits, or maybe another like 3 rounds of edits. Question 2 is Frosty the Snowman. Who is the most unique or interesting character you've ever created? That is a hard one. What trait does a character need to connect with a reader? In terms of the most unique or interesting character I've ever created, I'm probably going to say Daisy. She is the main character of my Pistol Daisy series. And the reason I find her so unique and interesting is because she's so different from me. I definitely have a tendency to take my view of the world and my approach to handling the world and the people around me, and I have a tendency to kind of input that into my characters. And I think that's because the way I move through the world and the way I interact with the world is what I know best. So sometimes it's very comforting to put that into a character. But with Daisy, I had to work very, very hard to break the mold of how I see the world and how I handle the world. Because Daisy does not see the world the way that I do. She doesn't handle it the way that I do. Her personality is so brash and rough compared to who I am that she was very difficult to write at first, but now that I have found her voice, she is the most fun character that I think I have ever written, or one of the most fun characters I've ever written, because I have quite a few characters that I loved to write. So I would definitely say that she's the most unique and interesting, just in terms of me really being able to step outside of my comfort zone in terms of creating a character who is very unlike me. And then for the second part of that question, what trait does a character need to connect with a reader? I don't know, vulnerability maybe? I'm trying to think of some of my favorite books, my favorite stories, and honestly, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the one that comes to mind. And if you've played it, you'll know what I'm talking about, but the main character that you play in that video game is Arthur Morgan. And over the course of this game, you become so incredibly attached to him. And personally, I found that my attachment to this character really, really grew and like solidified when I saw him being vulnerable and finally like letting down that shield that he always tried to keep up, like that strength that he always tried to hold for everybody around him. So, and it's great because every character can be vulnerable. Every character can struggle with vulnerability. It doesn't matter if they're the good guy or the bad guy or what type of story they're in. So personally, I'd say vulnerability is the trait that really helps me personally to connect with a reader. Not a reader, to connect with a character. That's what I meant to say. Question number 3, Christmas tree. What about writing lights you up the most? How do you keep this enthusiasm when things turn hard? So, what about writing lights me up the most? I'd probably say that for me, writing is very much an escape from what I see as a very mundane world. And I say that in a very like loving way, but I have always been interested in the other, like whether it was dragons or mermaids or the Wild West or, you know, living on a spaceship in the future. And I actually keep a screensaver on my desktop, which is turned off. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but the quote is essentially, a writer is somebody who feels ill at ease in their own world, and so they have to create other worlds where they can feel more comfortable. And I'm sure that doesn't apply to every single writer, but it absolutely applies to me. You know, because I kind of struggle in our world in many different ways, I find peace within worlds that I can create. So I say that that's why I write. And then the second part of that question is, how do you keep this enthusiasm when things turn hard? And honestly, I am not always enthusiastic about my writing because writing is hard. Writing is not just something that you're enthusiastic about and excited about and everything is holly jolly. That's not the case, especially for me. I always hit the slump in like act 2 of a story where I lose all interest and I wonder why I even wanted to write that book in the first place, and I wonder how am I ever going to finish this book or be able to spend enough time and effort and energy on it to turn it into a real thing. So I always lose enthusiasm. And I don't think you have to be enthusiastic about a story to continue working on it, because for me, when I lose that spark of like excitement for a story, I know that it's time to just buckle down and do the work, and the joy will return to me. When a story gets really hard, it's not always fun to work through. A lot of the time it is like hell trying to work through a story that just does not want to let you mold it at all, and it just doesn't want to work with you. So I don't want people to believe that they always have to be having like a joyous, fun time and be enthusiastic as they're sitting at their keyboard struggling to write every single word, because that's not realistic, especially for me. So the enthusiasm is not always there, but I've definitely found that if I push through the hard days and push through Act 2 and make it to Act 3, I can really find my joy again as things slowly start coming together. So if you're working on a book and you're feeling really crappy about it and you're not enjoying it, try to push through. Like, especially if you remember the joy and the excitement that made you want to write that story in the first place, just remember that that is waiting there at the finish line. It's like the pot of gold waiting for you. You just have to push through the hard days in order to get there. All right, question 4 is Nutcracker. How do you create characters or items that come to life on the page? What tips do you have for describing them so that readers can visualize and feel them? So in terms of creating a character that comes to life on the page, this is something that I continue to work on. It's just one of those things that as a storyteller can be hard to do. And I think it takes a lot of practice, and it takes reading a lot of good books and then maybe even picking out a few of your favorite characters and studying how those writers brought that character to life. I think for me, my favorite part of writing characters and what I do to try to make a character come alive out of the pages is just to make them as authentic as possible. I cannot stand cliche dialogue. I cannot stand when I read a bit of dialogue and it absolutely sounds like a tin soldier is trying to say these words, because it's so awkward and like nobody would ever say that ever. So as long as a character is being very authentic and genuine, and I'm doing my best to really fill them with actual human-like qualities, that is the best, I guess that's the best tip I can give you, because I'm not an expert at this. I don't think any of us are. Everybody can give their tips, but nobody is going to be able to like give you the formula for how to write a strong character. And then the second part of that question was, what tips do you have for describing them so readers can visualize and feel them? Like in terms of items and characters, and I guess I'll just take this to mean like descriptions of the world in general. Use all 5 senses and slow down. I have read, and I used to do this too, and it's something that I have worked on within the Pistol Daisy world and the Pistol Daisy books, because I have a tendency to go really fast through the Pistol Daisy books because they have a lot more action than my other novels. So I have a tendency to just like get onto the next scene, get onto the next scene over and over and over. But if you just slow down, let your character explore the world, explore the room, explore the desk that they're sitting at, and just give us those descriptors, you know, how something feels, how something smells, you know, what does the air feel like? Just those little details can really bring a setting to life. I don't think you need to spend 5 pages detailing, you know, the house while your character wakes up and walks down the stairs to go to school. You don't need that much description, and in fact, it can really bog down the story and make it difficult for readers to get through. But just little tidbits of detail, wherever you can kind of scatter them in. They're kind of like sprinkles or glitter on top of something. You don't want too much. You don't want the entire cupcake to be covered in sprinkles. You just want enough on top to make it pretty and to make the person that's eating it enjoy it more, right? Question number 5, nativity. Who are the people you could not be on this writing journey without? Those that have come around you to support and celebrate your writing. What are the best tips for finding a support system for those that feel alone? So the people that I have depended on most for my writing, I would say would be my parents for sure. Because they have always supported my writing. You know, I've heard these stories of like parents and families that don't support their children writing, that want them to go be a doctor or a lawyer or something stuffy like that. But my parents have always been very supportive of me when I told them I was going to be an English major with a concentration in creative writing. They were all for it. They wanted me to chase that passion. And then when I moved home from college and I didn't have a job and I didn't know what I was gonna do, my dad just said, you know, move in with me. You can live here for free, work on your books, work on your author platform. You know, he wanted me to have that opportunity and that chance to really start something for myself. And then also Greg. Greg has been wildly supportive. Like on our very first date, I started telling him about Way of Spears, because Way of Spears came out 2 weeks after I met him. So it was after meeting him that Way of Spears came out. And he went with me to take my books to a bookstore where they were on consignment, and I have a vlog of that. So he has always been very, very supportive of me. He was an alpha reader for Pistol Daisy, and he gave me wildly helpful feedback. Like, these books wouldn't be where they are today without his feedback. So definitely my parents, Greg. I would say my little sister, but let's be honest, she thought Pistol Daisy was already published, so she's like supportive, but I don't know if she should be on this list. And then everybody in this community. My writing and my storytelling ability and my belief in myself, like believing that I could be an author and that I could actually pursue this seriously, didn't happen until I joined AuthorTube. Like, you people here are the reason that Song of the Dryad is published. You're the reason that it is so high quality. You're the reason that Pistol Daisy will hopefully be out in the world next year. So this community, and this isn't even like fluffy, mushy stuff. I'm being absolutely serious when I say that this community is one of the reasons that I have pursued writing with such like intensity and such passion, is because being here has allowed me to believe in myself. And my screensaver went off, hang on. And I will also, follow up with the second question, which is, what are your best tips for finding a support system for those who feel alone, like with their writing and within the writing world? AuthorTube. Oh my gosh, AuthorTube, Instagram, and I specifically would say AuthorTube because by being vulnerable and getting on camera and sharing my story, I've been able to connect with other people who are sharing their stories and their journeys. I've been able to meet some of these people in real life. I am very, very fortunate and lucky enough to call some of these amazing women my friends. Oh, you guys, AuthorTube is an amazing place to be. I'm so glad that I got to spend another year here with everybody. And there's another year, 2020, coming up. And it brings me such joy to watch and see what everybody is achieving. Like, it's not just about me and my writing journey. It's about supporting my friends, supporting all these creators who are working so hard to make their dreams come true. Whether you're traditionally publishing or you're self-publishing or you're writing your first book, like whatever it is, you can find support and people who will lift you up and hold your hand and be that shoulder for you within the AuthorTube community. I 100% guarantee it. Okay, question number 6 is called Christmas Story Love Actually. And the question is, who is your favorite couple you've ever written and how would they spend the holidays? Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I would say, I can't spoil anything about Pistol Daisy. So let's just take Pistol Daisy and put it off the table. I'd probably say that my favorite couple is a tie between 2 characters in Way of Spears and 2 characters in Fire Tongue, which is a novel that I wrote after Highborn, but before Way of Spears. I never published it. I never did anything with it. I would still like to return to it and publish it because it's like a freak show story of a girl and her young sister who get picked up by this freak show and everything that they experience in that wild new circus-esque world. And there is a couple within that book that I really enjoyed the dynamic of, but I feel like I can't really tell you guys too much without being generally a spoiler everywhere. What would any of my couples do for Christmas? Let's be honest, Daisy would probably go shooting her new guns or something. Or think about robbing a bank. No, she wouldn't rob a bank, but she would definitely go shooting her guns and have a yeehaw holiday. So we'll just leave it at that because I don't want to give away too many spoilers. I can't, okay? Next question. Christmas food is question 7. What is your favorite Christmas snack to help fuel your writing? I don't have a favorite Christmas snack, to tell you the truth. But in general, my favorite snacks to have while writing are crunchy, salty things. So I love chips. I love sunflower seeds. I love slices of cucumber in hummus, anything kind of crunchy that I can just eat without getting my fingers all dirty since I'm typing on a keyboard. Granted, if you guys are watching my NaNoWriMo vlogs and you saw some of those close-ups of my keyboard, it was kind of nasty. It needs to be cleaned. Question 8 is Christmas gifts. What gift of advice has helped or inspired you during your writing journey? So I'm going to say 2 different things. So generally, the best piece of advice is tough, but I would just say the first draft is usually a piece of shit. So just push through it. That was something that I could not get through when I was a new writer. I started and abandoned a ton of books before I finished Highborn. So even if you feel like your book is a dumpster fire, just keep going. Push through it, and once you get to the end, you can go back and you can start fixing it and putting out the fire. So I guess, gift of advice, just finish the first draft and go from there. But then I also want to expand on this and say that the most helpful thing to me, again, hasn't been one thing. What has helped and inspired me on my writing journey have been the other people in this community. The friends that I've made, the struggles I've gone through, the struggles I've watched other writers go through. That is what inspires me, because writing for me used to be so solitary. I'd be alone in my bedroom just writing, And I would like tell my mom about my story or tell my dad about my story, but that was it. Nobody else got to see it or understand what I was working on. But now that I feel like I have a group of people who care about what I'm working on and encourage and support me, that is what has inspired me the absolute most, hands down, on my writing journey. So again, AuthorTube is going to come up for another answer to this question. All right, question number 9 is 3 wise men. So what started your journey to writing? Did it turn out the way you expected? And what advice would you give your past self about your journey? So what started my journey to writing? I have always loved to write, but what started my journey into storytelling was text-based role-playing forums. When I was younger, I loved Neopets, and within the Neopets website, I stumbled onto the forums, and within the forums, I found the RPG or role-playing game forum where you could create a character and just write posts back and forth. And on Neopets, it was ridiculous. You could have like a 100-word post and that was it, and other people would be actively writing this story. And the forums would go really fast on Neopets. So I would sit for like an hour or two on one little thread within a forum, and maybe it was a mermaid role play or a horse role play. Like I used to write horse characters and wolf characters and cat characters that were inspired by the Aaron Hunter Warrior series. So I started on Neopets writing in the RPG forums, and then I actually fell into the world of text-based roleplay on the ProBoards forums. I don't know if any of you guys know what ProBoards is, but it was a forum host, and I had all these websites that I used to roleplay on, and then I actually opened my own role-playing forum when I was 16 years old, and I maintained that forum for 6 years. So I was 22 when I finally had to kind of let it go because I was in college, I was writing my own books, I was maintaining like a horse farm and teaching like writing lessons, doing all these things, and I just couldn't maintain this RPG forum anymore. But that was like, the fact that I was writing on RPGs taught me so many important things. Like, not only did it teach me graphic design because I started using Photoshop to create pictures of my characters, it taught me basic HTML coding because I was kind of coding my website layout and the skins and all the like cool little apps and stuff that you could put on your ProBoards forums. But I also learned how to start creating characters, how to build stories, how to plot, and it was actually one of the members of my forum who introduced me to NaNoWriMo. I saw a NaNoWriMo logo in her signature one day, and it said 1 month, 50,000 words, 1 finished novel. And I had never finished a book when I saw that, and I saw this thing and I was like, girl, what the hell is NaNoWriMo? So I clicked that photo and her signature that took me to the NaNoWriMo site, and I have been writing ever since. So I have RPG forums to thank for really starting my journey into becoming a writer. Did it turn out that, oh, I missed like other parts. So that's what started my journey to writing. Did it turn out the way you expected? No, it turned out way better. I never thought I would be here on YouTube in front of all of you guys, you know, making all these friends, writing these books, editing for clients, like with Enchanted Ink Publishing, which is my publishing house. I never thought I would be here ever. So it turned out way better than expected. What advice would you give your past self about your journey? I would probably tell my past self to start making YouTube videos way earlier, because even now, looking back, like even last night, I looked back on my oldest videos and I wish I had more. I wish I had documented more of my life. I wish I had documented, you know, where I lived and the horses that I worked with every single day that I loved so much, and the stories I was writing. Like, I wish I documented more of that, because now I can't look back on it. You know, so even like this past month, I started a Month in Moments series on my channel where I'm going to just try to document every month in like very brief moments, just to try to remember it, because it's like a diary of sorts for me. So I would just tell myself to start YouTube sooner. Okay, question 10. We're almost done. I know I am long-winded. Question 10 is Santa's bag. If Santa could help you meet your author of choice, who would it be and what would you like to do with them? My author of choice, I don't really think I would like to personally meet any authors, like favorite authors like Maggie Stiefvater, Laini Taylor. I have met them at book signings, but I wouldn't want to like meet them and spend time with them because I feel like they are totally separate from their art. Like I just am madly in love with the art and the characters and the stories they create, but I think I wouldn't like to just meet them and like spend time with them because they are not the stories they create. So in terms of what author would I like to meet, honestly, some of my best friends here on AuthorTube who I have not met are the ones that I would really love to meet. There are so many people out there that I have not had the chance of meeting yet, and part of that is on me because I did not go to the Wander Writers Retreat this past year, and the reason I didn't go is because I am an extreme introvert. I get worn out incredibly easy. Like even a single sleepover can totally wear me out in terms of interacting with people. So that's kind of why I didn't go, because I just knew that it would be such a difficult experience in terms of constant interaction with people, which is tough because there were so many women there that I want to meet so badly. So yeah, my favorite authors, the ones that I would like to meet most, are the ones here on YouTube with me. All right, question 11. Santa's Little Helpers. What writing resource has been the most helpful to you? Well, AuthorTube, let's be honest. But then separate from AuthorTube, this book, Save the Cat Writes a Novel. Oh my freaking gosh. Like I have so many books back here on my shelf that like this shelf is full of them here. I have some up there that are like writing craft related books. None of those books helped as much as this one. So Christmas is coming up. If you're thinking of buying yourself a gift for Christmas, or if you have a writer in your family, or you have like a writer friend and you're not sure what to get them, this is the winner. This has helped me so much. Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody. Get it. We are on to the very last question, which is question 12, Advent Calendar. And the question is, how do you juggle writing with the busy holiday season? So my holiday season is not busy in terms of interacting with a lot of people because, again, extreme introvert, extreme homebody. I don't go out and do things with people, but it is busy in terms of pet sitting. So Greg and I have a very busy December. Every single weekend in December I am pet sitting. During the weeks I am pet sitting. So working around that is very difficult because pet sitting is not a steady routine. Like I'll randomly have a day off. Like today I'm off. I don't have any pet sitting, so I have the ability to do this. But other days I'm up at 6 a.m. I'm, out pet sitting at 10 p.m., walking dogs in the freezing cold dark. Like my schedule is all over the place. So honestly, with the busy holiday season, I sit down and I write when I can, and I try not to be hard on myself. I work incredibly hard during November for NaNoWriMo, and then in December, I try to give myself a little break because I know how busy it's gonna be. So just give yourself some grace, just try to breathe, relax, take it one day at a time, and slip in writing when you can. Like if that's at nighttime when you have your cozy socks on and you have 20 minutes after dinner or something to work, then those 20 minutes can be your sacred writing time. It does not have to be like a strict routine, even though I know that helps me. I've also kind of just come to terms with the fact that with pet sitting, I can't really have that hard and fast routine anymore. All right, guys, those were our 12 questions for the 12 writing tips of Christmas. That's what this collab is being called. So now, if you have made it all the way to the end of this video, and I know some of you probably skipped through a lot because I am long-winded, it's fine, it's fine. Now I'm gonna tell you how you can get entered into this giveaway as well as what I'm giving away. So this is going to be open for US and Canada entrants only. Sorry to everybody who is not in the US or Canada, but shipping is just very expensive, as I am sure you all know. And I'm looking at my phone here because there's like a list that I wanna make sure I hit on all these points because I usually forget things. So this contest is going to run from today, December 5th, through December 15th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when the contest window will close. So if you want to get entered into this giveaway, make sure that you get entered before then. And then the winner will be drawn that night. Okay, so in order to be entered into this giveaway, you need to be subscribed to my channel and you need to leave a comment below. And then what you need to do is go and watch every video within this collab series. There are 9 of us, 9 videos, 9 or more gifts that are being given away. And you need to make sure that you subscribe to everyone and leave a comment on everybody's video. That's all you gotta do. That's how you get entered. I'm going to be giving away a free ebook copy of Song of the Dryad. So if you are interested in it, that is what I will be giving away for this Christmas giveaway. Now, I get to send you along to the next author in this AuthorTube 12 Writing Tips of Christmas collab, and that is Jenna Streety. So you are going to find her information and the link to her channel right below this video in the description box. So make sure to head on over to her video next. It's kind of like a loop. So each one of us will send you on to the next person in the collab so that you don't have to like try to find us all and search it on YouTube. So at the end of every video, you will be pushed along to the next person. So please make sure to go and watch Jenna Streety's video after you watch this one. Give her a subscribe and a comment, and then she will push you along to the next author. Remember, there are 9 of us. This is a massive collab, and there are a ton of prizes that the winner is going to receive. So make sure that you get entered. And I think that's it for today, you guys. I wish I had a tea with me because I was just talking for no joke 40 minutes straight and my throat is a little dry. So I do also want to give a big shout out to Melissa Hope from Hopeful Happenings. She invited me to participate in this collab and she got it all set up. So thank you so much, Melissa, for setting this up for us. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry, I mean, I am difficult to work with, you guys. I am terrible at emails. I'm terrible at text message communication. It's just my introvert nature. But Melissa was like so patient with me. She's like, Natalia, are you there? I haven't heard from you. So Melissa, thank you so much for inviting me to participate and for having patience with me. I know I am sometimes infuriating to work with. So I hope all of you are having a wonderful December, a wonderful holiday season so far. Make sure to go watch Jenna Streety's video after this one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everybody.